Okay, so here is another one of Janis's customers, a lady called Niky, and we're going to interview her. In this instance here, she has joined the course, I think, back end of July, but she's yet to really start using it in anger. And when we're setting up jobs to be done interviews, it's quite good to capture a range of different types of person. So there's the person who signs up and immediately puts it to use, and there's the person who signs up and then parks it for a bit. Can we learn something different from this, from somebody that's started and not yet completed it? So listen in and see what you find.
Niky, is it?
Yeah.
Niky, excellent. I'm not sure what Janis has mentioned about this.
Very little. Basically, that he just put an email out saying anyone interested in giving feedback about the course, and I'm like, well, I'm happy to give feedback, but we haven't really started it yet. And he said, that's cool, that will still be really good. So I'm like, okay, well, if it's useful, then yeah, great.
Yeah, the idea for me, so if I give you some backstory, this is a business that I'm launching, which just literally launched, and I'm helping him to try and understand more about what his customers want and what they don't want. And so this is literally very, very early stage research that we're doing. And what we're interested in is the language that his customers use to describe both sort of suddenly waking up one day and realizing that they needed a course in his life, shopping for courses, however that's gone about. And then if you have used it, how you describe using it. But if you've joined and you haven't used it, well, however you describe that, like why sign up and then not use it or whatever. So the good news here, it's your story in your own words. You can't get anything wrong.
Yeah.
The bad news, where it's about language, I'll apologize up front, because if you use a word or a phrase or whatever, I might interrupt just to make sure I understand what it means to you, rather than maybe how I use it or whatever.
Yeah. And I don't always use the words that I mean, so actually it's quite good for me to check in.
What I think I'm saying isn't always what other people hear, which is
apparently that's what my husband tells me frequently. So.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry about that. And you can kind of think about this as a bit of a weird way, but I view this like, imagine we're shooting a Netflix documentary series about Janis and his customers, and this is your episode. So I might have some really weird questions, like imagine I'm following you around with a camcorder. Who's in the room? What's the weather like, or something like that. But I find it just jogs people's memory for stuff like this.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. I finished a research to master, so I love research. So it's really fascinating anyway. So
Yeah. The reason I do is I'm always interested. What I learn, I have no idea at this point in the call, but by the time it's finished, I'm sure I'll have learned quite a lot from you. So
I hope so. It's not a waste of your time. It'll certainly be very interesting from my point of view. So, and maybe inspire me to get the course open.
Yeah, indeed. And so, Niky, maybe to sort of start this off, start your story. Perhaps could you just give me a bit of background? Who are you? What are you doing? Like, what's going on in the big picture around the time that you decide to sign up for the course?
Yeah, okay. So I have literally just finished a master's in positive psychology and coaching psychology, and I'm about to launch a new business where I teach people how to do group coaching. Okay. This is something that feels very new, and is my third career, but it will basically be picking up and drawing from many, many years of life, sort of synthesizing and merging into this moment in time. So it's a real transition point for me right now. And my husband is, we just celebrated 25 years of marriage. We're always really, and the kids have just moved out. So, it's sort of in that sort of early empty nester phase transition. He's got a couple more years before he wants to sort of semi-retire, and I now have an opportunity to try and earn some money to help him do that, because I haven't brought any in, been a student for the last 3 or 4 years. And before that, I ran a charity for 15 years. And before that, I was a PE and science teacher at school, at secondary school. So, I've had an eclectic mix. But in group coaching is the kind of common thread that's run through it all. Okay. I was diagnosed with ADHD halfway through my master's course, which was interesting. But I think what's pertinent to this is I have always, I have quite a divergent, I see things quite systemically. And so I'm just going to pull the blind down because my curtains are glowing. I see things quite big picture systemically, and I've always really, really appreciated the power of simple, clear, concise messages, and I'm quite visual. So I love drawing. I wanted, like, I loved art as a kid, but never did it because I was worried about what my PE teachers would say and stuff. So my husband bought me art lessons, Saturday morning art lessons as a 30-year-old, and I did my art A level, and my kids were like 2 and 4 or something, just as a Saturday and fun thing. And when I had that structure, it was great. Like, I would show up and I would know what to do and it would be fantastic. But outside of that structure, I haven't got the discipline or the knowledge to know where to start often. That's something that's really important to me, where to start. And like, my husband's really creative and loves visual, and that's what he kind of wants to get into. So we've been talking about what it would be like, and we both love the kind of drawing. I signed up and did like a Procreate. I got an iPad and did like Procreate lessons in the early days, and was doing like one day, you know, a drawing a day effectively for a short season before I started my master's, admittedly. So it you know, when I had more time and wasn't actually starting a business. So I love that drawing, that creative side, and I love thinking and distilling complex things into simple ideas. So this is like the perfect synthesis of the drawing visual side of it and the thinking side of it. And it's something that me and my husband want to be able to do together. Now, we bought it. Do you want me to dive into that now, or is that
I would love to. You managed to. So I'm taking notes here, which is excellent. But I use this remarkable paper tablet, so I'm just going to have to go out of that and back in again.
Yeah, I've run out of space.
I'm charging along, and no, I'm keeping the space. It's just blurring.
Go down. Yeah, it's common.
No, not at all. This is absolutely great. So do this. Let's go back. Cool. So yeah, just maybe if I go back and make sure that I'm following along.
Yeah.
So you just finished your master's in some psychology,
Coaching and positive psychology, yeah.
Cool. Coaching and positive psychology.
Or positive psychology and coaching psychology is the technical term.
Okay. How long have you been doing that for?
I did it 3 years. It was supposed to be part-time, but it pretty much took me full-time.
Okay, cool.
I finished it last year, actually. I've then spent finished it sort of July last year.
Right.
No, yeah, July last year. And I spent this coming year kind of recovering and distilling what I've got from it and creating a course to be able to promote group coaching or help others basically deliver group coaching going forward.
Okay. So this is positive psychology coaching. You've completed a master's in it last year, and then you've taken a year to turn this into your own course. Is that right?
Yeah. And I ran a pilot of that in the summer this year. And with live, but my plan is to now turn that into a sort of an offer that's a year-long program with self-paced course and stuff. And I guess the only reason that this is interesting for in terms of this, you know, the ideas is I would love to be able to convey as much as I can and put things on social and promote simple parts, because it's a very complex and very there's a lot of moving parts to it, so it would be really nice to be able to pick up each visual part. And I've used the flight plane. I've used a metaphor of a flight, of taking a flight like a plane journey.
Yeah.
In how group coaching, kind of how you can, you know, bring people together. They all start a journey together. They all travel together in a container, a plane somewhere. They all arrive at the same destination, but then they leave and go off in different directions.
Nick, you just treat me like a total imbecile here. Group coaching, your course, are you coaching groups on this course, or are you coaching people how to coach groups?
Yes, a bit of both. I am bringing coaches and mentors. I want to bring coaches and mentors to equip them and give them confidence in delivering their own group coaching program, but I will be doing it through a variation of kind of group self-paced hybrid course and then group coaching aspects to it, live to it, so a bit of both.
Okay, so but the objective here is to get people who can then go and coach groups on their own.
Yes,
rather than to go and coach people in a group to help them overcome whatever.
I can do that. I do that myself, although I haven't done it. That's what I did for my research, but I haven't done it yet because I've been equipping others to do it first. Yeah.
Okay. This equipping, that's cool. And you mentioned that obviously you've got this metaphor already of everybody's on a flight together, and we've got to bring everybody on the same plane. You've obviously developed the course material by the sounds of things.
Yeah, first iteration of it, test flight it. I basically did it as I haven't got the discipline. Again, that sort of external structure is something that's really important to me. I don't have the discipline to sit in my room very easily and just create a whole course. Whereas if I've got a 6-week live session and I have people showing up, I have to create the content for that course because they're going to be waiting for it, and I will feel a bit silly. So I forced myself into a discomfort, an uncomfortable position where I then, okay, we're going to deliver it over 6 weeks. Yep. There are 11 stages in the using the metaphor. It's broken down into sort of 11 steps, and test it with them and get feedback from them. So that was really invaluable and changed how I'm going forward with it as well. I thought it would be a self-paced course and a community separately, but I'm going to go for a hybrid option going forward. So yeah.
Okay, cool, thank you. I'm sure we'll come back to that. That's very, very interesting. The next part,
in terms of the course, the expressing ideas visually is I hope when I'm trying to convey what it is that I'm doing to invite people in, that's where those visuals will come in handy. But I'm not able to create that yet because I've got to create the course first, if that makes any sense.
Okay, make sure I've got that. So you want the skill that Janis is teaching to explain ideas visually to help bring people into the course?
Yeah, so my marketing strategy is email marketing. So I want to be able to nurture through emails.
Okay. So
get people into the email list and nurture them, and then have a rolling onboarding program each month that you just invite people into. But I imagine a lot of people will stay in an email list for a long time. So I want to be able to bring them content regularly that is helpful, useful. That helps me with my mission of elevating the status and people's ability to deliver great group coaching, and then I can invite whoever wants to go that deeper into the sort of training module sort of stuff.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome. Thank you. So then you said you're married 25 years, kids moved on. Your husband's getting to the stage now where he'd like to semi-retire, and it sounds like you feel that you should pick up the slack or something like that because you've been
yeah. I've got all my kids in different areas. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So.
Okay, so it's a hand over the baton.
Yeah.
How long's that conversation been going on? Because obviously, about a year you've been developing the course, but sounds like things.
Well, to be fair, we've always had this idea that, like, I ran a charity and I just didn't take any money. So there's always been a conversation for a long time that I haven't really brought any money home. And I think with the kids, like I was working as a teacher, but I was part-time also raising kids and stuff. So, I've always taken the second step, but we've got a great partnership, and, I bring in the value in saving money and finding the better deals on the home insurance and all the things that, so I do contribute, but not in bringing lots of financial in. And I think now that I have the skills and the potential resource to be able to sell an offer, that is what, one of my husband's biggest bugbears is that I always undervalued what I was offering, even through the charity. But that was my mission, and that's the people I was reaching didn't have the money. So, you can't change that. That's a societal issue, not that I'm not worth what I'm charging people.
No,
but now
So to some it's kind of like a bit of, it doesn't sound like he's pushing you. He's just saying, I think you're worth more. And now you've got this skill, you've got this desire to go and help these people, and you've got opportunity to go and do it. So you want to earn more.
Yeah, and it's both of us understanding and appreciating the nuances of, we were happy before, and now there's a change in the situation where, like, I'm not having to look after kids. We shut the charity down because the world changed. Post COVID, it wasn't the same place. But everything I've learned in the charity is going to be used in informing what comes next as well. So it's just building on what has been, and there is capacity because I am serving a population this time who do have resources and who want to make money from group coaching. So it's appropriate that I charge appropriately. And actually what I have got in the skills, the experience, the evidence-based stuff, where I'm strategically positioned, it is a value. So
just right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's just this is the time for it. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
We haven't got there yet. So we're in the interim where we're like living as if we will be. but we're not there yet because I got to do the work first.
Yeah, okay, no problem. You mentioned an ADHD diagnosis. Is that something that's happened recently, something a while ago? Like what?
Yeah, no, literally probably about 2 years ago now, because it was halfway through the course. It's something that made a lot of sense. So let's put it that way. And it comes from writing and trying to. The reason I've learned about myself. The reason I struggle with writing is because I can't. My thinking is faster than I can express.
Okay.
So I literally vomit words. If when I was trying to write my assignment, I couldn't get it out in the deadline time. So I literally vomited because I couldn't just get that kind of I couldn't capture it. But I've learned again loads of structures, loads of scaffolding in place to make sure I'm clear about what is it I'm writing for, who am I writing for. So I literally will journal now, get clear, and that helps me slow down my thinking. So I right, I am unclear. I am not able to write this because, and I'm literally writing this out loud, as if I'm speaking it. So I'm thinking through writing. That's really helpful in slowing me down. And I hope that the visuals will come, we'll be able to slot in with that, eventually. That's kind of.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned you see the big picture. It sounds like there's the whole thought sat there, and a bit like me now, my pen's not keeping up.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm talking slowly for me right now.
Yeah, okay. And with that, the visual ideas side of things, is that if I go and draw something visually, it's quicker to get that idea of the big picture out, or is it that by forcing myself to draw a visual, I'm a bit like saying journaling or whatever. Am I deliberately slowing myself down, or am I catching up with my brain?
I think it's just being able to convey something more complex, more in a simple picture tells 1,000 stories. It's that sense of the picture can tell something that words. I struggle with words, but I can see it. It's that sort of sense of I could see the visual of the metaphor with the plane. I can visually see, and originally I was describing the group coaching metaphor as a chocolate eclair, where you've got your chocolate in the middle, your eclair around the outside, and then the wrapper. And it's people come, and it was the shape. It's the shape of things that I see in my more quickly. So that's kind of where I hope the I haven't done the course yet, but that's what I hope I will be able to distill, combined with my ability to now understand. Okay, am I writing this down, or am I trying to capture something because I'm trying to get clear for myself? Am I writing something because I have an idea about it, and therefore it can come out messy, permission to come out messy now, whereas before I have to write a complete, finished, published sentence when I'm still thinking about it. And I was trying to do I call it input, ideas and outputs all at the same time. So now I understand how to to actually think about which stage am I writing for. So I've sort of done loads of work in trying to understand that. So
this is neither then of what I'm saying. It's not that I can draw a visual and capture the whole idea more quickly or in real time, and it's not that it's slowing me down. It's that it allows me to express the whole idea, and I feel like that's the shape of the idea in my head anyway.
Yeah, probably more like that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's cool.
I hope. I haven't done it. I also really love the feeling of drawing, or putting the pen on the paper. I love the feeling, the tactile feeling of being able to draw. I like it on the iPad, with the pen and the iPad. I like drawing on paper, but I'm not very good at putting the pen in the right place to get the right, So what I love is shading. I love shading hard to soft things, because I'm really embracing the feeling. But my handwriting is shocking. I've practiced my entire life. It's not something that is something I haven't tried to do, but it is. I can't read it.
I'm not sharing this what I'm writing live, because nobody else but me could understand it. So
I can't understand mine. That's the problem. That's why I write capture notes more digitally or audibly, because I can't read my own writing back, because again it's too quick. I'm writing and I'm not taking the time to shape the letters, so I miss it.
But I mean, you say that, but you also said you loved the idea of art, but dropped it at school because you're focused on the games. And then in your 30s, your husband paid to give you lessons, and you ended up getting an A-level in it.
Yeah, no, I love art. I love art. I didn't do it as a kid because the teacher wasn't very nice. I thought I would get teacher wasn't very nice, and I felt like I would spoil the paper. Like I would see this beautiful piece of white paper and I would be like, well, I can't do anything on that because I'm just going to spoil what's there. I can't make it, and I can't get what's in my head on the paper accurately enough.
Okay, and this goes back to you. I love the feeling of drawing, but I'm better at shading something in because when I'm trying to draw it freehand, I'm worried I'm going to spoil it.
Yeah.
But cool. You got through a whole lot.
I guess that's what my our A level taught me, is actually enjoy the process, not the outcome.
Okay. Oh, so prior you didn't enjoy the process, and then it was the art A levels taught you that piece.
The art A level, I didn't not enjoy it, but I thought, and I was focused on the outcome, and then would get disappointed or frustrated because I couldn't achieve that outcome.
Yeah.
Whereas the art process taught me, don't worry about the outcome, just enjoy the steps along the way.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably where I've got to with the writing and life. And
Okay.
actually,
so
that's
building up to it. So it's like I've got the confidence to go and do this because it doesn't matter
what it looks like at the end. Yeah.
Just going to enjoy doing it. That's
Experimental. Cool. Sit with the unknown, like we're doing right now. It's like, actually, it's now fun. I enjoy it now. Whereas before, I'd be like, what would I have said? I would have had a list. Do you know what I mean? It would have now I'm like, no, just go with it. And I think that lends to group coaching as well. It's like you can't know everything, so you have to sit with the unknown. So
yeah. When did the Procreate lessons come into this?
I think that was getting an iPad when the iPad pencils came out. I think it was a way when I was running a charity, and I'm hyper focused, which ADHD trait, work, and I needed to find something to relax and to have fun and do. So Procreate came in around, I think it was like just discovered this drawing app and with an iPad, and was like, and I used to watch we call her Bridget Bardot, but it's not Bridget Bardot. There's a lady who does like on YouTube like art lessons and stuff with different brushes and stuff. And again, I was rubbish at the actual drawing, but I enjoyed watching her draw, and I enjoyed thinking about drawing, and I enjoyed the feeling of the pen, but the actual outcomes of the drawings were never any good. So but that's probably about 10 years ago. So it's something that's sort of before. I guess I was doing that as a way of chilling out pre-COVID, or maybe even during COVID.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Thank you. So explain ideas visually. In your own words, what I know you haven't taken it yet, but you've paid for it. So what if you were talking to somebody, maybe to your husband or maybe to somebody else, saying, "Hey, we bought this," what would you say you've bought?
So what I bought is a course that will help me build on the fact that I understand more clearly now how to distill a single idea, and I love visuals and I love drawing. So I'm hoping it will give me the confidence and skills and practice opportunities, and someone to tie those things together for me, tie the writing, tying the capturing of the ideas with the drawing and the visual output, so that I can share that with somebody else and explain something really, an idea visually very simply, a complex idea visually very simply, or capture their attention to talk about something underneath it, if that makes any sense.
I think so.
And the other thing I think it will give us, is myself and my husband, is in 2 years' time, when he's semi-retired and we've got time, and we go and jump in the van and sit at the beach, we can play together, creating ideas visually, and having like date nights where we draw and play and go, what would it look like, and have little fun drawing sessions together and compare, because we like that, but we haven't been able to do that because life's been too busy.
Yeah.
And so I think the reason I bought it now is because I thought I won't have any money later. I literally used up the last of my redundancy, and I thought it would go up in price, and so I wanted to get in while it was still a low price, and we can use it when we're ready. Like, we were going to use it. We bought it for our 25th wedding anniversary, around that time, as a kind of fun thing to do together.
Yeah.
But we already had loads of things to do at that point. So, and right now we're about to do loads of house projects and stuff. But we kind of feel like it is something that we both enjoy. So now we've got it, we can use it as and when the time is right, if that makes any sense. And, you know, that might not be for another 2 years, but that doesn't matter because we know it's there. The other thing, I think one of the reasons I bought it was because there was those sort of Figma templates, and that's a tool that we both were like, oh, I'm learning how to use that a little bit more. So it was that sense of, because we had the Adobe suite when I was running a charity, but we haven't got it now. And I've got a free Figma account, and I was like, you know, it was like, oh, it helped us learn Figma. We could draw on our iPads. We could convey the ideas that we like to talk about really simply. We like walking and talking quite a lot. So it's like we could talk about the ideas and then come home and draw them, you know. So there's that kind of thing. Or we can go and sit at the beach and draw, have fun things together, going, how could we do this together? So we see it as a way of having fun.
That's cool.
Conversations together.
You mentioned you bought a 25th anniversary present, what, to each other?
It was around that time. Well, I bought it through work because I was like, I will use it for marketing and stuff eventually. Like, as I say, I need to get clearer on what the ideas are before I start drawing them. And that's the kind of where I'm creating the course. But I want to have something different to introduce the email list. Like, I don't want to sell I don't want to deliver everything in the emails that I'm delivering in the course, because then the people don't need to pay for it, if you know what I mean. So actually the visual ideas is a way of hooking people in that are simple and accessible to want to find out more about the course.
Yep. Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Right.
And it is a partnership for us as a work thing as well. So again, when my husband, like, if he finishes, he really
help out.
No, he won't help me out. He's got his own thing.
Okay.
He's more creative than I am, actually, and he's much better at it than I am. So, and he doesn't get the opportunity to do it. He started actually using, like, drawing things in work, being more creative in his last few months. So I think it was kind of around that time. Like,
yeah. So can you remember roughly when it was that when you bought it?
Yeah, it was end of July. So it wasn't actually. I saw it for our anniversary and said, "Shall we buy it?" And we didn't, because that was April. Our anniversary was April. But I think I remember seeing it, and I've obviously seen Janis's work on LinkedIn and other people sharing it and all that sort of stuff. So I've seen the brilliance of it. Noticed it a long time ago, and then noticed the course around the anniversary. But we didn't buy it because we were like, "Will we actually use it?" But I thought, I'll just keep it in my back pocket, if you know what I mean. But then I remember it came out in July and the August challenge was coming on. And I thought, oh, that might work out really good timing, like if I'm having a rest or whatever. Yeah, that was fun because we had kids moving houses and all sorts of things. So that didn't happen. But I bought it with thinking that would be a good way to start it, having something like that structured to start it.
Got it. So end of July, you've ended up buying it, thinking you joined the August challenge. Can you remember roughly how much you spent on it?
It was we had it with a discount of 30% off or whatever it was. So I think it's about $189, I think it was, or something like that.
US.
It was a lot. Yeah, I think so. Off the top of my head, I can just find out exactly if you need. But
no. It's just what you remember is the best piece here. So about 180, 190 US dollars. That's a lot of money. What does it compare to?
I was spending a lot of money on other courses at the time.
Okay.
And this one had more value because it was shared with my husband. I think that's the thing. It was like, actually, it's our marriage course, and we just spent 800 quid. So we do quite a lot of investment in our marriage, like, so that we're friends. So that's why we've got 25 years. Kids have left home, we're still friends. So we had a series of coaching going. Okay, what does this next season look like? So we spent probably about £1,000 on a series of 10 coaching sessions.
Oh, right, okay.
As our 25th wedding anniversary to each other. And put that into practice, we don't spend anything on each other, you know. So it's like, it was a lot of money for us, but it's because of the relationship that it's priceless for us. That's
okay. So just making sure I'm following. These are like, you're doing other coaching courses to learn stuff, or is this me sitting with my wife and going, we'll pay somebody to coach us how to be friends together, and some part of that coaching is them saying, why don't you do a course together, or why don't you go and do this with, or is it neither of them?
So obviously, being a coach and understanding the value of coaching myself, I think that's where it's a space to just, and also the positive psychology of it. It's not like counselling where it's like, oh, it's broken. It's about, okay, what is working really well and how do we build on that?
Right.
And
Okay.
my husband, one of my peers on my course had been giving him some coaching because he's coming up to this transition time because the kids have left home. There's just so much going on right now. He was deciding what he wants to do with work. He wasn't sure. So it was a real transition time. And as part of him doing his coaching, one-to-one coaching, his creativity came out as a strength he has and something he really appreciates, but he doesn't get to use very much.
Okay.
So it came out of well, this is something that we could do together because it would be useful for me for work and it would help him because it's something I'm really passionate about. And we did the marriage coaching at the time because it's a toolkit. It's like they do an assessment of you and they say what's working, what's not, what can you add value, what can you build on and improve on.
Yeah.
We did a whole, and it's an American thing, but we did a whole survey each, and then they kind of combine them together, and then they talk you through each module. So there's like a number of modules that you work through. So, and it was like, and out of that as well, it's like, actually, these are the things we love and we have real strengths in. So let's build on those. So it was a real asset based, and yeah, it was. That's what
So this isn't like unless we do this, we're going to go our separate ways. It's more we're doing this because we love each other and we want to make this as good
the next 25 years be as good. So much so that the people who are delivering the course are like, we've never had people like you. Like all your scores are like really good, and they're like, yeah, because we do this. It's because you're intentional about investing in our relationships.
And that's compared to the price of Janis's course, or because I think you mentioned you spent about £1,000 on that.
Well, it was like £100 an hour sort of thing, no, but I think where it wasn't about the money, like it was about the money, because like it compares to like we don't have any, like if I don't make any money by Christmas, we go bust. But the reason we invest in the course is it's a one-off payment that we can use whenever we want over the next 25 years. And the value we get when we can sit together and do something fun like that together for our relationship is priceless.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, $189 is relatively large sum of money because my business is starting out and I don't have any customers necessarily yet, or I don't know where the next money's coming from. So
I had some customers for my pilot course, like I had, so I had a number, so like, but that literally earned £2,000. Okay. So it was like 10% of what I earned, but I wanted to invest that in home. And yes, it can be married, it can be work related in the future as well, if I manage to get it right and good enough to use for work. But it's more about our relationship, which is priceless.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing all of that. So if I go back, so if it's end of July, you've bought the course. I think you said around April, your 25th anniversary. Sorry.
And that's when my husband's having his own one-to-one coaching around that time as well. Then, so
okay. And maybe when did you first think about this course? Then was that?
Oh, I don't know, a year, a long time. Like I don't know. I've seen the work on LinkedIn and Instagram and stuff. I don't even know when I was following it, but certainly not. It was a long time. It was a year or 2 years. I don't know.
Okay. So I guess when did you go from just seeing this and thinking this is good to that kind of?
So I signed up for the email list.
Okay.
And then it sort of popped through, and every time it popped through, I was like, "Oh, this looks really good. Oh, this looks really good. Oh, this looks really good." Okay. So it was something that which is why I want to do emails myself.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess so. I'm sort of I've signed up 1 or 2 years ago. I like it. I'm on the email list.
I see the work out on LinkedIn. Other people using
there's a lot of email dominoes falling. So what changes in your mind that triggers you from this looks good or I want to do this into I've got to go shopping for this, or I've got to.
So I think it was the catalyst was the 25th wedding anniversary and my husband doing his coaching. It was like, oh, we could do this, but we didn't because it was a lot of money. In fairness, it was still a lot of money for us, so we didn't around around our anniversary. And we actually we booked time off. We were going to go away, but it ended up being in school holidays, so we couldn't afford to go away. Okay. So we weren't sure what we were going to do. So that was another reason for not buying it then, because we weren't like, well, if we bought it for this and then we haven't got time to use it, there's no point in buying it. But when the August challenge came out, and I think you might have mentioned, you know, prices will go up or there's a discount or something like that, I remember thinking, oh, I want to get it before it goes up, and I would hopefully be able to do the challenge. That might be a really nice way of getting started.
Okay.
So those were the kind of catalysts.
Back a couple of years ago, when you were starting to look at Janis's courses and thinking this is, you know, look, wow, I'd like to be able to do this. It sounds like there's two kind of things running here. One is, I want to be able to do this for my husband. This is an investment in the future. So it doesn't really matter if I'm not doing it now, because we could do it together from now until forever. And another one is related to, this is my company. I've got this money from my pilot students, and yes, it's maybe 10% of that, but I'm going to use it for marketing. So I'm seeing this in my head as two horses running or whatever. Is one of them running faster than the other? One in front? Like, what? Which one pulled you in?
Well, actually, I think the thing that pulled me in wasn't even either of those two. So I was thinking, when you said two, I mean, there's more than two.
Okay.
Was the fact that, yeah, there was the challenge, so there would be structure, that would be accountability and support for helping me get started with it. It didn't work out because of life at that point. I'm sure he'll run other things like that though, so I'm not worried about that. But I was like, oh, that might be a good time. And it was like, if we didn't get it now, we might not be able to afford it later. So, you know, if the prices are going to go up, and if we have got it now, we can use it, but we don't have to. But I think that the reason I got it when I did is because, yes, the money was in the bank at that moment, and I could have spent it on a million other things, but I chose that because it had the multiple stacked in terms of value now and later, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
And while I was creating the course, like while I'm creating the course, it might be something I pick up, and I like sit with things, like I call them sitting in the crock pot, you know. So it's sort of like I could start it and then sit with things. So we got as far as downloading the Figma templates, I think, and that was about it. And just because my son happened to be here, and my son told me to use Figma, and he's a graphic designer. So, but I think it's there were multiple things that just converged at the right time rather than any one thing. But I think it was the August challenge, even though I didn't take it up on it, that I thought, if I'm going to do it and there's an August challenge, that would help me. I recognize that I need scaffolding to show up and do these sorts of creative things.
Yeah. Did you ever look at any other courses? Did other courses like this ever pop up that you signed up to email lists for, or like you on loads of email lists, or is this
other courses in terms of what? In terms of visually drawing, or?
Yes, I know you signed up to, you had your art courses before and Procreate course and stuff like that, but in sort of recent memory, in the time and place, because it seems like April to July, with the thought of joining this bubbles up and becomes, I'm going to do it now.
Right. So I'm always signing up to some things, like as much free as I can. It's something that is normal for me to have loads of content stuff. I think because I'm going into conveying something quite complex, trying to do it quite simply, using metaphor for the business going forward, I think that, that's what I'm starting out as. So this feels like a good fit for that. I've been part of a course and a community which I managed to get a scholarship place for a couple of years, which is all about note taking and writing concise single idea notes. So that's simplifying my thinking, for about 3 years. And before that, and before I started my master's, I joined an online community. Again, it was free, for a piece of software that I managed to access as a charity person and then a student, called Rome Research, which was all about one node at a time. So and for me, and reading Sonke Aaron's book, taking smart notes and understanding what a Zettelkasten was and all of that sort of stuff, I think has been really instrumental in helping me get clear on my thinking. So this feels like a step building on all of that, in terms of, now if I can get clear on my thinking, I could represent that visually, and that makes it easier for me to, rather than use all my words to tell somebody something and they become overwhelmed, which is typically what happens because I speak really fast and a lot of things at once, I can draw a picture.
Okay. If
it works out. That's what I'm hoping.
Okay. So yeah. So maybe if I'm hearing this right, that there does seem to be quite a lot of quite a lot of reason to do it now. But historically, it's not that you're necessarily comparing, Janis's course versus maybe I've got a course, and so PJ Milani, all of these other people who create similar courses. You're kind of always learning something, and it sounds like you've gone on a journey from learning art to do the A level, and learning how to draw on a Procreate, and then how to take visual notes, how to structure my thinking, and this is just the next step, or the next rung on the ladder. Is it that, or is it something else?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's that sense of, because I learned how to, I've had to hack my way through, and I think that's where the ADHD diagnosis was helpful. And that's like, that's you always resourcing yourself, because you have to find ways to fit in or to work out stuff that other people find really simply, and yet there's other things that I find really simple that are really overwhelming to other people, and I'm like, that's not what it doesn't make sense to me. Develop, setting up, founding a charity, social enterprise, running that from scratch, not having any experience, figuring it all out. I think there's a lot of learning, so I'm always trying to pay attention to how to convey a message, how to attract people to help the benefit. So the charity work was in well-being, and positive psychology is also known as well-being science. So it's like, how do you help people live well and thrive? So there's a reason for, it's not just like I want to convey a cup, it's like I want to convey something meaningful and transformational for people. So that's the kind of underlying, but you can't start there. That's what I've learned. You can't start with something really deep and transformational. You have to take people on a journey. And I guess the visual hooks are the way to help start challenging those preconceived perceptions or ideas that I'm really passionate about.
Okay, this is awesome. So, sorry, I can't spell after. It's a matter of writing. This is awesome. Okay,
I'll share whatever my note taker takes if you want.
Yeah, look, I've got the transcript here. I'll go back and watch the video, but it's more making sure that I'm following along in the story and I'm not missing some key part of this. So if I'm kind of playing this back and trying, my Netflix moment, I'm your understudy or whatever. Some part of this is just like throughout life, I've been sort of learning this. I'm building this as I go. I've been, adding all these skills, and they're kind of just building up on one another. And I'm getting to the point. I've ended up finished my master's at the end of last year. I've decided I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going to build a business. I'm going to teach what I know. I'm going to make some money. So there's quite a lot of sort of crescendo building up here. There's, your husband kind of gets I'm a visual person, and maybe we could do this kind of courses together. So that adds a bit of weight to it. And then it sounds like you've got some money that's come in from the pilot training that you're teaching. And you're like, well, if I don't spend it now, maybe the price goes up and I miss out on this. So, but I'm not shopping for courses. I just so happen to be on an email list, and this is the next one, logically, that makes sense for me to learn. Is that?
I think, because it brings the relationship side with my husband, and we're also thinking about that as 25 years hit and the kids move out, and what does this next season look like. So I think there's that was probably more of a driver. Like, I wouldn't have bought it for the business. I bought it through the business, so that me and Gareth could do it together, and knowing that it would be useful for the business, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of there's a reason to do it, but we're not going to buy it for our anniversary. It's a bit too expensive, and maybe not going to use it. But no, there's some money in the bank. I can use it for the business, and we can use this together.
No, I think it's the other way around. I think the bigger driver was we could use it together, and I could use it for the business.
Okay. So
which is interesting now I've said that, because when you're talking about you went shopping around for the courses, I'm like, no, but I noticed his work. Like, the reason I was on his email list is because I consistently noticed. I don't give my email addresses out, and I'm quite protective about how many lists I'm on, because I sign up and unsubscribe very quickly, because I am a prolific gatherer of things, and then I will hoard those things digitally. But the reason I'm on his list is because I kept seeing his work, and it was clear and identifiably his, and it showed up in all sorts of places. And I don't know if that's the algorithm pointing it at me, or if it just happened that I noticed it. I don't know, but it was easily recognizable, and I really valued it. I really thought, well, I love this. The way they've conveyed this is really powerful. I want to be able to do that.
Okay. when did you join that email list?
I have no idea. I don't know.
You must
I
have been
can
on.
find out if you want, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just interested from the timeline of this, because you said, I don't join many lists, and if I do join, I leave it.
Oh, yeah, no, I join lots of lists, but I unsubscribe very quickly, so I don't stay on lists.
Yeah.
That's just in the course. Hang on. I can make another one. Hang on. So I think because he's done some work with Dickie Bush, right? So another. So yeah, September 22.
Okay. So
27th September 2022. So 3 years ago.
Okay. So you've literally you've been on this list now for nearly 3 years at the time that you signed up. The best part of.
Yeah.
You always liked the work, but the course only became something. Did you ever look at the course prior to this year or not?
Yeah, and just way too expensive. I don't have the money.
Okay.
Not of value. I just don't have the money.
Yeah. No, it's.
Which is why as soon as I had the money, I was like, right, let's buy.
Okay.
We won't have it for long, but that's a mindset shift that I'm having to have. It's like, okay, I can start actually not thinking like a charity and thinking like a business now. So.
Yeah, okay. And I always ask this question of anybody I interview, because obviously it's money is very individual. So I didn't have the money, but now I've got it. I'll spend it now because I can use it, with my husband, but I can also use it to build this business. Were you worried when you made the decision to buy it?
Yes. If I can't say I wasn't, because I got redundant. I got like a really small amount of redundancy from the charity, and I haven't turned that back into generating enough income yet. As I say, like the test pilot went really well. That exceeded my goal was £1,000, and I got 2,000. So I was delighted with that. I did up my prices just in the last week before I put them out, which was a massive leap of faith for me. And I'm on that journey of what is the value, because I've always understood value is very contextual and very relative and personal. Like how much £5 is to me to £5 is to the to the local council or to a millionaire is completely different. Like I will steward all of my £5 really carefully because I haven't had any. So yeah, it's not something that I'm protective of my emails because the time and mental load of those emails. I'm more protective of my money than I am of my emails because I have less. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Okay.
And I think that was probably another reason for buying this, is because it was giving my brain, like the thinking part of my brain, a different and restful way of engaging. So I find the creativity quite energizing, and I'm constantly working about my well-being, trying not to burn out. So actually it was a fun, creative way. That's how I see it, as it was an investment in doing something that would bring fun and it would be restorative as well as creative and useful in the business. And that's the primary reason for buying it. So, and that's something that I've been paying more attention to as I'm getting older. I hit 50 last year, so been married 25 years, so it's kind of like this is the time to invest in things that are going to be generative rather than another thing on your to-do list.
Okay. And maybe help me understand that then, because this is a creative outlet for you. If I do this, it's restorative. It's sort of recharging me, I think, or restoring me. You said creating your course for your business. That's not creative in the same way. It's not as restorative. Well, how does that
work? The challenge I have is I love what I get to do. Like I love running the charity. I love doing the work. I love doing my masters, and I absolutely love, and I'm so excited about doing this course. But it's all consuming, and it's all quite hyper focused, quite intense, and and I need something to not make Jack a dull person. Do you know what I mean? It's that sense of I need something fun and less intense, which is, I think, again, the ADHD, like there's that huge hyper focus, and it's like actually change it up, because that helps bring a balance and something, you know, it's not so intense.
So from hearing you right, then if I'm creating the course material, let's say PowerPoint slides or something like this, that is intense. I'm focused. I'm in there. I'm doing it, and that's draining me. Whereas if I'm taking something out of the course and turning it into a nice looking visual, maybe as a hook in my email, that's sort of charging the battery back up again.
Yeah, it's a different way of focusing. It's that process focused rather than outcome focused. You know, it doesn't matter if that's what I've been really careful about. I'm like, I'm not going to, which is why I think I bought it for us for our marriage. It's like, that's the primary reason for buying it, to give us some fun, respite, you know, something that we both enjoy doing together. And if there are things that are good enough to use in the business, then that's great. But that's not the primary reason for buying it.
Okay. So
Even though it justifies the buying it with the finances from the business.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think this is probably where I'm sort of going along. It's a lot of money. I've just spent, you know, just earned my first money for the business. I've got, you know, £2,000. I'm spending about 10% of it on a course, but I'm not just doing that for the ability to have a respite from what I'm creating for work or to create new opportunities. It's a general thing I'm going to carry on just in life, and especially with my husband. Is that right?
I'd almost flip it. I'd say it's a general thing I want to do in life, and I get to use it in the work.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I said that the wrong way around. Sorry. So.
No, sorry, someone just arrived. My son's girlfriend just arrived downstairs, so I might have got distracted halfway through you talking there. But yeah.
So it's more that I get something through work that I can use in my personal life. I can detune.
It's all of those things. I think that whenever I'm buying something, it's like, how many layers can I get value out of it? So, you know, when you ask, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it will give a lot of value because I can use it whenever I want in terms of that sort of self-paced stuff. I can use it for fun and restorative and relaxation and, you know, date nights and all that sort of stuff in the van, wherever we are. And I can use it for my business going forward when I want to change up how I start. You know, I've got to start by email marketing with words because that will be quicker and get me out there. But when the words are run out, I can start introducing this whole new layer of visuals, which hopefully will come easier because I've done the work with the words first anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and I guess so. Therefore, when you signed up, if I'm trying to put myself back in those shoes, it's
long game.
I'm, you know, let's say I want to go draw one of these kind of visuals. The first one I want to go and draw is just one for the sake of me drawing it. I'm not going to draw something about a concept for work.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I just know that when I think, oh, I want to do some drawing, I can because I've got it. Yep. And I didn't buy it originally because I thought, oh, this would be so good. And I thought, do you know what? It's still there. Like if I get to that place, then I will buy it. So I'd made the decision to buy it, I think around the anniversary time, which is why I thought I remembered that first. But I didn't buy it then because I didn't need to, and I wasn't using it then. But because the August challenge came in and I thought the price would go up, those were kind of the reasons for me going, do you know what? Just buy it now and we can still use it later.
Okay, that's cool. You did mention a few times the Figma templates in there. What's important about those in this decision?
It's a compounding layer, isn't it? Because it's like, I don't know how to use Figma yet, but if there's some templates, then that gives me something to start playing with.
Okay. But maybe I missed the piece on how did we know that Figma exists or what?
My son did help me. So my son gave me Figma. When I finished my master's, I had to do a presentation, and he gave me a Figma template with all my logos and helped me create a PowerPoint presentation using Figma. But I don't really know how to use it. So I was trying to use it and really badly. So I was like, oh, again, another reason for learning because I can learn Figma at the same time. And my husband was like, oh, I'd like to learn Figma. So he uses Canva. We both use Canva to create stuff.
What are you creating on Canva or Figma prior to?
I used it to create. Well, actually, I say my son did. I did it in what did I use? I think I might have used Canva to do my PowerPoint slides, and then he took them into Figma and gave me a link and said, right, here you go, this is what you need to do. But I only knew enough to be dangerous with that. My husband is starting to use Canva for like work, for presentations and stuff, for work, for speaking out, like, you know, conferences, for leaflets and stuff like that. So again, lots of visual ideas. So he's just recently used some kind of lighthouse, and again, sort of using that as a metaphor, or using the lighthouse that was in the community where he's working in to convey a message in the layers, with the lighthouse layers or whatever it is. And that went down really well. And that was him stepping out and being brave, which again was around that sort of same April, May time, when he started trying to be more creative and being more confident with his strengths, effectively, his strengths. So yeah, but again, it's the visuals. It's why I like Procreate, isn't it? It's that sort of sense of being able to create something visually. Having had the Adobe suite, just about starting to get used to it when I was in the charity, and then having it taken away, I just realized I'm not. I used to be tools. I need the tools to do this, but I've learned the tools are up. It doesn't matter. You need to figure out what you need the tools to use, and then you choose the tools. So I think with Figma, it's like it can do things that Canva can't, but I don't know how to do that yet. I just know it can.
Yeah,
like drawings and stuff, and that's where Procreate again is like it's not so vectory as, or I don't know how to do it as vectory. So Procreate feels like a sketch version that you would then take into Figma to have a sort of more finalized or finished product.
Okay. So again, if I'm hearing right, this isn't I must sign up to this so I can get these Figma templates. It's more, I've got
a layer of value.
You know, I've used Adobe Suite. Why not just go and get whatever the Adobe Suite was back?
Because it's expensive.
Oh, okay. It's expensive. Figma's not.
Figma, you can get a free account, and you've got 3 boards with. Adobe, you can't get anything for free.
Okay, right, okay.
And I used to have the Adobe with the charity because we had so many things we were using, and we got a charity discount rate and all of that. So
yeah, okay. So then your son's come in and said, well, if you don't want to buy that, I use Figma because he sounds like he does graphic design anyway.
He's a graphic designer, that's what he just did a screen, yeah. So
yeah, okay. And so therefore,
what he told me. And
then you're looking at it going, well, I need to be able to use it and learn how to use this. Why not just keep using Canva?
So I got a lot of one of the massive transitions I've had is when you're a charity, you get so much access to support, and you have better volunteers and trustees, and suddenly being on my own again, it's like you lose all of that. But we've still got our Canva account from the charity, so we're using that because we've still got access to it. So until they boot us out, and then it's like we'll have to pay for that. So
yeah, okay. So basically the charity gave you a sort of degree of support and assistance and how to use stuff that you or I wouldn't normally have, because we haven't got endless resources to hire people to tell us how to use this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. I have asked a lot of intrusive, nosy questions. I've asked a lot of probably very stupid questions. What have I missed out on? You've in your story, have I missed anything here?
I guess the only thing that I would say is, like, the reason I don't. It said, oh, like you said, what's it equally valuable to? And it's like, I went, oh, the £1,000 of coaching. We don't spend that amount of money. Like, we haven't spent, like I say, everything's been through the charity. We have a lot of things with charity. I feel like we've invested a lot at the moment in the business and in our marriage. It feels like there's been a lot of sowing in and almost like putting fertilizer down in the ground that will reap rewards going forward. And the reason that I bought this when I did is because it hit so many points. And as I say, it's like 3 years of being on an email list and seeing his work out and about there. Yep. So it isn't something that I do lightly. It is a lot of money, but I trusted him because I've seen the fruit of his work. I've seen his work. I've heard him talk about the ideas on LinkedIn and on Twitter. And, I've been following all of that for a long time. So yes, it was a lot of money, but I bought it in faith. So yes, you asked me if it's scary. It was scary because of the money and the volume of money and that we just don't have it. But I did question the value of it. I knew we were going to get good value, and that's why I bought it then, because I'm like, this is good value. It's going to go up in value because it needs to, because it's worth more than what he's charging right now. We won't have that money probably then. I've got it right now. Let's do it as a sort of celebration for us as our marriage. And I can use it in the business at the same time. And it was just that sort of converging, as you said, sort of everything kind of coming together.
Yep.
And I have confidence that it's not going away, because I've been on a journey for a long time. So it's not like I bought it and then expected him to go bust tomorrow. Like, I have confidence that it isn't going to go away. I was surprised I got that, got a personal email like as soon as we bought it, and it said at the bottom, this is not a automated email or something. And I was like, that's probably an automated email. And then I just replied, and then it really, I was like, no, this really isn't. I was like, oh, okay, it genuinely is answering questions and stuff. So that's why when you sort of said, is anyone able to help? I value research. I understand the value of doing something well. I knew I'd enjoy the process because I love thinking. And I would love to give back, because I think what he's got is really special, and I can't wait to see it get out, more and more. And if I get to do something, if I ever create anything worth sharing, then I'd be crediting him for it as well. So
yeah, well, likewise. So hopefully, thank you so much, by the way, for sharing this story. It's really, really valuable. What I'm going to do is synthesize this. So I think the fifth person I've spoken with. The objectives to speak to, I believe, about 12 to 16. From that, we're going to try and pull apart the stories that are most similar to one another.
I imagine it's quite unique, though. I can't imagine
You would be surprised. Yours will be unique, of course. Everybody's story is unique, but it's the themes behind it. So even though this, it's like there was a chap I spoke to the other day, and he's had all of these ideas in his head, and he wanted to get it out. He wanted to be able to do these sort of visual diagrams, but he always used a graphic designer in his case to translate his ideas or help him shape his ideas into a visual so that other people could understand it. And whatever this was locked in his head could get back out. Now, I don't know if you're going to end up in the same group as him, but some of the things that you've said and the way that you said it, and that's why it's about language.
Yeah. And the visual.
Could well put you in the same group. And yes, he didn't say, well, so I can go, do something in the future with my wife, but he did want to do it with his daughter, I think, to teach her how to do this stuff. Or he wanted to do something with he had ideas of doing it for a business as a graphic designer, as a freelancer. Yes, it's different contexts, but actually it all comes together at some point. He sees an opportunity to go and make some money in the future and to do something with his family. And also, by the way, I can't do it the old way I was doing it because it's been taken away from me and I need to learn a new tool. So I don't know. I don't want to, but normally once I get to 5 or 6 interviews, I start to see deeper patterns that sit in there. And so anyway, hopefully you're okay with us publishing this stuff and the findings on it, because if you're going to go and create your own content and you're going to be trying to sell courses or things like that, what we learn might be useful to you. And obviously, if we find anything that we think can be replicable or valuable, obviously I'll be more than happy to share it back with you so that you can use it and build your own business and be as successful as he is. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. One thing came to mind. So when I was one of the catalysts in starting to help me with thinking and using visual ideas, and again, I think it's related to the ADHD, is there was I always felt like I had so much in my head, and the way you described that guy with all the ideas in his head was really great. And a friend of mine, I'm Christian, and we prayed together. And when she was praying, I had this picture, a visual of like a side of profile of a head, like you get like an outline of a head with like spaghetti. And I always said I've got a spaghetti brain. And as we were praying, it was like all of the spaghetti just went into lasagna sheets and just stacked up. And it was like a really neat. So from my head went from spaghetti to stacked up sheets of lasagna, order, organized, accessible, as opposed to a complete mess. And it's that, that I think that's what I've been pursuing. And, even the fact that was a visual in my head that I could simply draw out visually, that's what I've seen in my head. And I've seen Janis's work express in similar, different ideas, but it captures that sense of something. That's why I already connect with the visual ideas and I just want to have a way of practicing it, exploring it, playing with it going forward, which I can do with my husband. And if I can use it for work, marvelous.
Yeah, awesome. And
So
those
I think like that already, and now it's about expressing the ideas.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Look, you've been wonderful. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best in your business journey. I've had mine for 9 years now, I think. So we're launching this as a new service, and so I'm probably not dissimilar position to you from something. You come up with an idea, you want to go and get it out there and launched, and so I appreciate the help and like I said, if we find anything useful, I'll make sure that I get it back to you, because
amazing, thank you. Yeah, and I'm on the list, so it's great to be able to say he's really inspired. So I'd love to pay it forward,
Yeah, cool. Well, sorry, hopefully it wasn't too painful.
It was fun. I love it. This is the thing. I absolutely love it. So I could talk all day, probably gathered. And I know you got. Thank you so much.
I'm the same. So that's cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Take care. I look forward to hearing from you at some point.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks.
All right. Bye now. Bye. Can't get out. You get out.
Let you out. How do you get the roof? Where are we? Okay, right, so that's just taken the note taker out just so that I can focus on this. So Janis, this a great interview. What a wonderful story that she's got, and just like really intense amount of information that she's pumping out there. But there's such a long story. This is one of the things I always see in these interviews. This isn't something that happens overnight. Even started looking at this, thinking about in April for the 25th wedding anniversary. Gets to July, we've got some money, you can invest in this. Like all these dominoes have to fall. So there's some pushes that are there already, and then pulls. But it's the combination of all of this that drives her over the line there. I'll probably have to go and watch this one again before I note the information out, just because there's a lot there. But I think she has given us some, there's, I don't think it's one or the other. There's probably one thing that tips the push first. So it's the desire to do something together. It's the desire to have that exploration, to play, and to do that as a couple rather than necessarily as an individual. And then closer to the event, there's so I can get it at a decent price, but also, so I've got access to these templates to learn the new tool. So I do have a funny feeling she may be very similar to I think Kieran it was the other day. I've got to go and remember who the different interviewees were now. But I want to just pull that out and let's have a look at it. And the words that she's going to use to explain why she has gone off and selected this will be different, or at least the specific situations. But as we aggregate up a level, maybe it's not something so deep niche as so I've got a thing to go and enjoy retirement with on the beach with my husband. But if we take that up a few levels, so I've got something fun to do with a member of my family. Well, that would tie along with somebody who's got a daughter. If we see a few more stories like this, and it could be somebody doing something with their son or with their brother or with their sister or whoever it might be in their family, is there a social side to learning these skills that we're missing out on? That it's yes, I'm going to do it when I'm in this position for my business to go and buy that, but I also want something personally from it. It may be nothing to do with family. It could just be purely, the higher abstraction level is drawing, being creative is an outlet for my brain that helps me think things through. It doesn't drain me. It seems to build the battery back up. That could be, that could be it. So there's a lot to unpack in this one. Hopefully it's helped. And really great of her to share her story and let us share it with everybody else. So hopefully everybody else is enjoying it. Cheers.
Okay, so I have had some time to watch the interview again, to think it through, and to debrief the 4 forces of progress. And at this stage in the game, after we've had, I think now 5 or 6 interviews into the process, you are starting to hear the common threads, the pulling these things together that match. Interestingly, I think she's somewhere possibly between Kieran's initial desire, so wanting to do something for his work purposes, to sort of build some sort of visuals into the future, and there's sort of some forward-looking thing there, and some social aspect with his daughter. But actually there's also a component, I think, of Mittel's story, the second person we interviewed, where he's got this big picture idea in his head and he wants to get it out. So it will be interesting to see when we do the clustering. Does she land in one or the other, or are they all relatively similar? I don't know yet. And this is the best thing to do when you're running jobs to be done into, is keep your mind as clear and blank as possible. Try not to second guess things, because what will happen is once we've pulled all the four forces out, once we have the chance to run the clustering, then we should start to see the patterns in this information, see why people belong together, and what is it about their shared stories that makes more sense about why they're buying, why do they prioritise the things that they prioritise, why do they choose the training course that they've chosen and the features that they've picked. So hopefully this helps. In this case here, I've also parked so the four forces analysis is a separate video that will be further down in the page or elsewhere on our YouTube channel. So if you want to look at that, please do so, and thanks a lot for following along. Cheers.